So I have to get outside and walk around to make this video, but this is going to be a very quick and dirty video. While I was driving last night, I saw this video by Brandon. He's a real estate broker owner out of the Troy, Michigan area. So I'm going to sandwich it for you here. You can see what he's got to say, but what he says makes a whole lot of sense. How to get free listing leads in your real estate business for 2024. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to get any systems or anything like that. In fact, you don't even have to give me your email address or anything. Just wholesome information.
All right, so in this video, I want to break down one of my favorite ways to find not just real estate leads, but actual listing leads, seller leads, people inside of the actual neighborhoods in which you want to sell houses. How do we find those people for free? Now, let me talk first about how in which we used to do this. All right, so we're not talking necessarily about for sale by owners or expired listings right now in this video, although you can get those leads pretty much for free as well right now, right? You can get your for sale by owners from Zillow, set yourself up on alert, get all the for sale by owners that hit the market, and you can get your expired listing leads from your MLS, give that list to a title company so they can get you the contact information. We're not even talking about that. We are talking because, quite frankly, those types of opportunities, although phenomenal, they also come with a ton of competition from other agents in the market. I'm talking about the hidden seller opportunities where there is no competition in the actual neighborhoods where you want to work. So before we jump into this, if you want, you can download my brand new script book. There's a link right in the description, and it will outline the conversations that you can have once you start to generate some of these seller leads. So let's jump into this. So first I want to talk about the way we used to do this. All right. So there's companies out there like SmartZip, which I'm showing you on screen, and they do an awesome job. It's a great company. I use this company for a long time, and they sell leads, or they sell data based on their what they call their predictive analytics. So in other words, you could see right here, it says predictive analytics is the use of data, algorithms, and machine learning to identify the likelihood of future outcomes based on historical data. The goal is to go beyond knowing what is happening to providing an assessment of what will happen in the future. And they do this so that they can give you the potential of people who are going to be selling here in the near future so that you have the opportunity to contact these people before your competitors, right? Makes a ton of sense. Well, there's a tool that I love to use where you can do this now for free, all right? And so let me share my screen and I'll show you. So the tool is called Remime, okay? Most of you have a direct integration with inside of your MLS where you can use this tool for free. So here's the icon, and let me show you exactly what you can do with this tool, all right? So what this is basically is an MLS public record data mining tool. It's exactly what we want, right? Well, when we think about, first off, okay, what are these predictive analytics that these companies are talking about? Well, you see these likely to list leads being sold. Well, here's some of the criteria I wrote down. Number one, home equity. If somebody has a lot of home equity, meaning they've built this up over a long period of time, that's one piece of data that could suggest that this person could cash out and sell that property here in the near future. Another one is ownership length. This is a big one. So we know based on historical data that the longer somebody's in their home, the more and more likely it is for them to sell, right? And so we use that as part of the data, which you guys are going to have access to with this tool in just a second. I'll show you. What about ownership type? So we also know that different ownership types will increase the likelihood that somebody will sell that property. As an example, one of those data points that I absolutely love is an absentee owner. We're not talking about corporate owned properties. In fact, there's a lot of research coming out right now that the vast majority of single family homes that are non owner occupied are not owned by corporations. They're owned by individuals like you and I, where they have one or two or three of these properties. Well, we know that a lot of those people, depending on the market, especially with the way that home values have been increasing over the last couple of years, are looking to cash out. They've had them for a long time, they've had them as rentals, and now they are cashing out and moving on as part of their retirement. Well, that's another piece. What about age, the age of the homeowner? Well, we know that there are thousands and thousands of baby boomers that are retiring right now. What do a lot of them do when they retire? They downsize because they've got their nest egg, their property. They cash that out, they get something smaller. And so that comes into play as well. What about mortgage age? How long have they had this mortgage? Or better yet, do they have a mortgage? Or is the property free and clear? These are all things that go into these data algorithms that a lot of these companies in the past, we've had to pay for this data. Well, now you have access to it for free. All right, so let me show you how we do this. So when we log into Remine and we do a simple search, this is how I'm finding hidden seller opportunities that my competitors don't yet know about. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw in a zip code where I sell real estate. And this will outline one of my market areas. All right. So you could start to see these filters on the left-hand side. And we can start to build our own prospecting lists. All right. So let me give you a couple of case studies or examples or use cases rather. First thing, we can look at home equity. All right. This is when we talk about effective farming or effective neighborhood domination marketing. One of the greatest things that we can do, and if you're taking notes, you're going to want to write this down. I can go into one of the markets in which I serve, and I could say, okay, I want to go in here and I want to see all the people that have a lot of equity, and I'll tell you why. So let's just say I build this list from 250. I mean, this is a lot of equity. We'll see. All right. So there's 5,000 people. You can see in the results right here. There's 5,000 people that, here I can move, that have equity in their property. Well, what would I do with that information? Well, rather than approaching this from the standpoint of, hey, here's how much you could sell your house for, like a lot of marketing that we see is done, we can do something different. And a lot of other industries do this. Instead of approaching homeowners from a marketing or prospecting perspective of, hey, here's the value of your home, let's approach it from the standpoint of unused equity. And so when you put a marketing message or a prospecting message in front of these homeowners to say, hey, here's how much equity you have built up into your property, now it becomes very, very tangible. That's an easy one. Okay, fine. Home equity is one thing. Next thing we can look at is we can build a list of ownership time frame. When we think about this type of demographic or this type of prospecting or marketing list, we can start to think about, okay, I want to start thinking about these people that are downsizing. And this is one of the biggest opportunities we have in real estate to go out there and serve our communities at the highest level, which is with all these people that are looking to retire and downsize. Well, if we click on ownership type or time, and we could say, hey, I want to look at everybody who's been in their home for more than 20 years, I can do that now. And I can quickly, with a click of a button, find out that there are 2,000 people in my market right now that have been in their home for more than 20 years. So rather than just taking a shotgun approach and just cold calling everybody, right? That's like the circle prospecting approach. Why don't we create our own targeted list of people? And in this case, there's 2,000 prospects that have been in their properties for more than 20 years. Why don't we spend our time, energy, effort, and our dollars prospecting and marketing to this group of people as an example? Well, let's go even further. So they have their own sell score, right? So this is a predictive analytics tool that's built into this where you can get that data as well for free, okay, for free. And you could click on, hey, who in my market has the highest sell score? And you can get their data, and they say, hey, there's 459 people that are looking to sell. Fine. I don't even use that because I'll show you why in a second. If I just go back, I want to show you some more evidence, all right? If I go to ownership type, this is just one list. We're going to build multiple lists in a second. And I say I want to prospect everybody who's been in their property for more than 20 years as an example, and I hit apply. There are 2,000 humans. If I hit this button right here, list, check this out. Well, now it's no longer theory or opinion. Look at the screen. You can see how many of those people already have their properties on the market, which tells us, wow, okay, well, geez, I already know that this list has produced results, whether or not I prospect or market to this list at all. It's already occurred. Look at this property, this property, this property, this property, this property, this. They're already on the market, which tells us, well, that would make sense that the vast majority of the people inside of this list probably have a high likelihood of doing the same. What I also like about this list, once you start to download it, look what it says. Equity, equity, equity. So as we go through this list, right, we could start to say, okay, well, in addition to getting a list of people that have been in the property for more than 20 years, I can also see who's got the most amount of equity. And so I can use that in a marketing message, right, to say you've got $643,000 of earned equity. Maybe now is the time to sell, right? As an example, this property owner, look, they are an expired listing. They tried to sell. We know they want to sell. Might be another great opportunity. Almost 800,000 of unused equity right now. Okay, so that's the other use case. Let's talk about a couple more. So if I go back to map and I've got my zip code. So now here's the absentee owners, one of my favorite lead sources that you can now get for free. I can go in here and say, I want to look at all the people who own properties in my market where they don't live, whether it's a vacation home, a second home, a rental property, an inherited property. I can simply say, I want all the absentees in the state and out of state. And out of 10,000, if I hit apply, I can see, wow, there's 600 of these people right in my market area. There's 600 homeowners right now that probably have a high likelihood to sell. Well, let's do the same thing with this list. Let's look at the list and let's get out of theory and let's look at practical application. And lo and behold, look at, out of the 600 people, the entire first page of data, there's a bunch of properties that are already listed. Well, why? Well, because I told you at the beginning of this video, a lot of people who have these properties that have all this equity in their home are looking to cash out. If I go through this list of people, look at all this equity. 973,000, 282, 174, 468, 350, 700,000. This is all built-in equity that the person got by simply owning the property over the last however many years. And it's a great way, it's a great demographic or prospecting opportunity for you to contact these people and have the conversation about the facts. And the fact is that with values being at all-time highs, and in 2024, maybe even going up another % or more, you're going to see a huge portion of these 600 people sell. And it's not my opinion. There's people already doing it right here 3 days before Christmas. So just understand that you're building your own likely to sell lists. All right, couple more. So let's go back to map. I'll take out absentee owners. So we now let's take that out. Now, another one that I absolutely love. You could, if you were a mortgage loan officer, certainly get a list of people that have mortgage rates that are above 6%, but we're not talking about that right now. Mortgage age. So now check this out. When we talk about, I really, Brandon, want to start prospecting downsizers. I want that to be one of my core target audiences for 2024. Now you have the ability to do that. We can go build a list of people that have no mortgage, right? We can apply that list. So there's 2,700 people. And like we talked about before, let me just we can also, in addition to that, you can add multiple filters. So I want all the people that have been in their house for 20 years or more, and they have no mortgage, and I can whittle that down to 772 people. Now I can do a direct mail campaign to 772 people and not have to do it to 10,000 people, like the mass marketing. I don't have to do that. I've got 700 people, which is that's a much more manageable, what we would call a demographic farm, not a geographic farm. Yes, geographically, this is in your market, in my market area, but now we're taking the entire geographic location and we're whittling this down to the people who have the highest likelihood to sell. Makes your marketing much more effective, makes the messaging much more potent, rather than just having a general message. Do you want to sell your house? Well, no. Now we can say something that's much more specific to the list that we built. Same thing with your prospecting efforts. Now you've got a list of 772 people who you can call. You can go and knock on their door. You can send them a message on Facebook. And now it's much more specific, right? And so these are just opportunities. You can do the same thing with distressed sales, okay? So let's just take this one out. We'll take this one out. You could say, hey, everybody, I want to see a notice of maybe some foreclosures or defaults or list pendants, which means a potential divorce or some potential estate sales or probate opportunities. And I can go to my market and say, okay, well, what does that look like, right? What does that look like? And so with the market being up as much as it is, there aren't any of those. No surprise there, right? So that's why I think there's too many other opportunities to focus on distressed right now. But here's the point. The point is we have tools that we can use to go out there and generate leads for free, because I believe that leads is no longer the issue. When I put out polls here on the YouTube channel, or I ask a big group of agents, hey, what's your number one issue? A lot of them say leads. Well, I don't believe that leads is the issue, because we can get our hands on leads. We can get our hands on data. We can get our hands on contact information. I think the problem is our lack of commitment to actually proactively communicating with our leads. Number one, you being the one to initiate the contact. I think that's a huge issue for a lot of real estate agents, because we want people to contact us, and we know that's not as effective. You sit back and you wait for somebody to call you. It is not as effective as you playing offense and going out there and initiating conversations with homeowners, because it puts you in the driver's seat, puts you in control. That's number one. Number two, once we make that contact, we don't have the skill set either to set an appointment with the prospect, or I see this even more so the issue, how do I generate what we would call a lead, or somebody who's going to go into my database or my pipeline and follow up with them effectively, so that over time, when this person is ready for a sign in their front yard and they're actually ready to sell their house, that you win the business. And so we've got a lot of videos here on the channel about how to do that. But if you're open to a coaching relationship, perhaps in 2024, let's have a conversation. I'll put a link in the description. You can click it. You can schedule a consultation, and we can work through a business plan, a follow-up system, and most importantly, a skill set that will allow you to communicate as the obvious choice. Because when you boil it all down, I don't care what you're doing from a lead generation standpoint. What matters most is your ability to communicate effectively, to stand out from the crowd, and have a homeowner invite you into their home and have a conversation about the listing and the sale of their home.
So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that information. And if you want more information on AI automation and what it can do for your real estate industry, your real estate business, how it can save you money, increase your leads, and automate your life, feel free to reach out to me. Give me a call, hit me up on Facebook or anything like that. Cheerio, bye.